Alright guys, Bill here, back with more. Yakuza 0. Team 9, I don't know where I'm going now. Okay.
Okay. Hey David, what's up? Hey. How's it going, man? Are you feeling okay?
Where am I going?
Well, great talking to you, David. David would be the guy.
Yeah, we're on chapter 2 still.
He would, like, you'd see the 3 dots come up, and then they'd go away, and then they'd come up again, and then they'd go away, and then, like, 10 minutes later, you'd get, like, a sentence, because he's finally figured out what it is he wanted to say. Yeah, or, exactly. Get him out of here.
Shit.
David, please go to the diary room downstairs. Alright, David, don't even sit down. Wait, what? We saw the conversation where you said that your new nickname for Kaser was Casey, and Casey, he's not in it. Oh, but we're just, don't even sit down. We got a door right here. Yeah, it's the other door. Okay, bro. Bye. Chicken! Chicken! No, I'm joking. Davon says,
Oh my god.
look, Bailey,
What time is
first
it?
time
It's like, what, 12?
ever,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a good spot. Just like, oh, Davon. No. Oh, man, and like that's the, like she just wants to be in a good spot, and so she like investigates until she finally feels comfortable, but in the process of investigating, she has turned off all of her allies, and now she's not in a good place. Davon has slowly been tanking her game. It kind of went like this: week 1, week 2, week 3. So it's like here right now. So she has a long climb. She needs to climb Mount Everest now.
この店は何時
Take
から
her
開くん
time,
だ?
well, she really can't take her time. She needs to climb Mount Everest overnight. So good luck, babe. Yeah. But she also questions Bailey about, like, hey, were you holding that David stuff back from me? How long was he telling you these things? How long did you know about all of this? Bailey's like, well, no, I didn't know anything about this. This is not on me. But she, like,
立花不動産の話を
if
聞きに
anything,
来たん
it
だ
seems
が、
like Davon is
あんたここの店の
Bailey more than some of the people she should be skeptical of.
もしかして人生一家の人？
But Danny and Cody
人
are
生
gonna
一
talk.
家
Danny
なんだ
says,
違うのかよ。
all right, here we go. I've got an idea. Do you
おい、ちょっ
like
と。
to play risky, or do you
少
like
し
to
だけ
play
話
it
を聞かせて
safe?
くれないか
And I can see in Danny's head,
立花
she's
不動
like,
産にこのビルから
I'm
追い
gonna
出
set
さ
it
れ
up
そうなんだ
so that the lame option seems like the one, like the
なん
not
なの
doing
あん
it
た。
seems lame. Like, do you like to play it safe? Do you like to have some fun with the game? I mean, he does come from Big Brother
さっき言ってた人生一家って
knew
ね
the answer before it happened.
登場界の4次団体でこの店のケツ持ちしてたヤクザ。
Of Derek.
毎月きっちりみかじめ料取ってたくせによ。
Of Derek.
立花不動産に追い払われちまって。
Yeah, she says.
極道が
and he's like,
仇相手に退いた
what do you mean? What do you ask me to do? She's like, just tell me. Do you like to play it safe, or do you
この
want
ビル
to
の
have
他の
some
店は
fun
も
and
う
take some risks?
立花不
He's
動
like,
産に立
just
ち退かされ
just
た
tell me. She's like, oh, okay.
ある時急に立花不動産が来てこのビルのオーナーになったから全員出てけってさ。
The two of us
中には立花
voted
不動
to
産って
keep
聞いただけで
Chanel
店閉めるやつもいて
to set up
残ってんのは
Davon
もう
and
うちだ
Bailey
け。
set them up to be like, oh, they like set them up so that they voted that
あ
way.
んた家族で店に住んでる
No way. I'm not doing that.
住む場所を別にする余裕なんてないからね。
Well, let's go to another
神
place.
さん
Let's
は
keep
ビル
going.
に住み着いてるホームレ
She's
ス
like,
が怖
what?
いって
Come
奥から出て
on.
こなくなった
That's
よ。
so annoying.
連中よこしたのは立花不
Cody.
動産の嫌
Come
がら
on, why not?
ームレスにビルの中で消防させたり大声をはめかせたり審理まで出しやがる。
立花不動産の人間も毎日来るのか。
最近来るのは無言電話だけ。夜通し何百回かかかってくるよ。
誰？
Do they have a secret alliance we don't know about? Is there going to be some last minute scrambling for Danny to date Janelle? Is there stuff we don't know? But
Does
she think that like if she votes for Janelle, then like outside of the house she can be like, see Janelle, I still, you know what? They made a preseason deal that they would never nominate each other or vote for each other.
何があっても俺が守っ
You
て
know, when Janelle gets out of that house and she sees all the things that Danny said, hopefully there's a buyback so she doesn't see it, but hopefully it might be tomorrow when she sees these videos. I don't think that friendship's gonna be there anymore, and I think that we're gonna be having a long conversation between Nick and Janelle on the phone. I feel like this really might be that she feels like I'm sticking to the agreement on a technicality that I'm not nominating her and I'm not voting to evict her. But and that might be part of it.
I'm thinking right now,
I think she also wants
I'm thinking about the stock watch.
to set
I'm
up
thinking of
Devon, and
rebuying
she wants
all
them
my
to
Tyler
target
stock.
next.
Because I'm trying to think through things right now. It's like I feel pretty confident about Tyler right now. It's like there was that. I ended up selling it right when Devon stuff happened, but now I feel like he's done a good job again.
第二個俺は仇の人
You
間
know, she
だ
was setting it up, and I think that smart and some like good
この店の
Danny
用
moves, but I
心棒と
don't
思ってる
know if that was a good move.
We're gonna
because
buy a
they're
$6
right now.
of the
Cody and Enzo just had that conversation. We don't trust
Tachibana
Danny. Now she's
Fudoshi.
throwing this out. That just
仇ぎずらしたヤクザだ
his probably brings up his radar even more by doing that.
別に部外者が何をも構いませんが
We'll see what happens, Danny. Yeah,
それより今日
Danny
はちょ
also
っと
seems
預
to
かってき
have
たものがあり
moved
ましてね
slightly away from targeting Tyler. The new person that has been on her lips has actually been Ian. That she's bringing up to Nicole that like, hey, Ian's got to go eventually.
今まで生瀬さんが人生
And
一家に取られた
she's
見たじめで
a little bit less
月3
concerned
万の
about
3
Tyler.
円玉に色つけ
She
て
talks to
200
Cody later in the day, and
生瀬さんの代わり
she
に
says, you know
取り
what? I
返して
feel
お
like
きま
Tyler
したよ
trusts me a lot.
極道から金を取り
I
立て
think
た
he really trusts me, and Cody's sitting
Antarctica.
there like,
200万
yeah.
それとうちの社長から気持ちとしてプラス200
Well,
万
I can tell you, I
お子さ
actually
んのミル
think
ク代に
targeting Ian would
もう
benefit her
200
right
万
now.
か
We haven't even mentioned Ian yet today, not one time. That says a lot about his game. He knows
Well,
how to- it's mostly out of
な
disappointment.
もうこれで手打ちましょうよ
Yeah, but you know, he knows how to,
このビルから
he
出
knows
て
how
っ
to
ちゃもらえませ
sneak
ん
through
か
and work with the right people. He knows how to play the
金
game
の
well
問題じゃねえ
regardless. He has no
俺はな
intention.
勝手な理屈で弱い者の人生好きにできるってあんたらのその態度が気に食わねえんだよ
Target right now because Nicole is the person that I think that she wants to work with. Her, Nicole and Cody are the two I think that
き
she
れ
wants
い
to
事
work
は
with
よ
right
しましょう
now.
や
So
生
Ian
瀬
is
さん
coming between that. So it could be smart.
もうこれ以上こねても
I'm gonna
あん
disagree
た
with
の
that.
もら
I
いは
think
増えま
that
せんから
I think that Tyler is a much better target for Danny. I think Tyler is way more dangerous to Danny's game. He's on to Danny and wants her out. And in addition to that, Nicole is probably, in
言い過ぎた
fact,
芝居
not
しや
even
がって
probably, is definitely
金の
her
問題
best
じゃなかったら
ally.
何の
And
問題だ
Ian is
こら
literally just an extension of Nicole. She's Yeah, they have convinced him to three. go after Bailey, which doesn't even make any sense, really, or it doesn't make that much sense for his game. So,
あんたにはあの鳴き声が聞こ
I
えねえの
think
か
that Ian is actually one of Danny's most valuable pieces on the board. She just doesn't know it. Yeah, because she could be in that three-person alliance with her, Nicole, and Ian, and they would all work together.
親の顔にさっさば叩きつけるのが立花不動産のやり方
You're
か
right, I guess, thinking about it, because
そ
those
ち
are
ら
the
さ
two
ん
people
の
I
人
think
様
really
に
would
説
have
教
her
を
back
垂れる
right
ほど
now.
まっとう
Because
な人
people
間
are
に
starting
は
to
見え
turn
ま
on
せ
her
ん
without
が
her knowing about it. But she won't turn
ま
on
あ
her.
いいでしょう
Yeah. So that could
生瀬さんにはこちらの誠意が通じたと見えますし
to think about it a little bit.
何勝手なこと言ってん
And
だ
I think the thing about like Danny targeting people too is that like she's not always
生瀬さん
targeting people right away. She is just kind of like
今
planting
夜あた
seeds
り
for
お
the
電
future.
話いた
But
だけそうです
like
ね
Enzo says it best. Like
いいお返事を期待していますよ
Things change in this game. It's a long game. Like you don't need to plant seeds for week 7 in week 3.
今時こんな街で妙な正義感匂わせちゃ命が危ないよ。
So all you're
お
doing
兄さん
is opening yourself up to
お
getting
わさびは
exposed
ほど
for
ほどにし
basically
ないと
no
ね。
reward.
For sure, in this game, it's different from Survivor. Survivor, you can play 7 rounds ahead, but for Big Brother, it reshuffles every round. Someone different, anyone could. David could win HOH next round. I really hope not. But anyone could win. You know. So
出てけと言われてさっさと出てった連中はバカだ。
I mean, you
辛
could
抱を重ねりゃこういうボーナスが出てくるってのによ。
like the old school seasons you could, but now they've added so many things that made it impossible to really strategize well with it.
I think a good rule of thumb for Big Brother is that unless you plan on targeting someone within the next 2, maximum 3 weeks, don't say their name. Don't talk about targeting them. Don't try to set it up for 4 weeks plus. That's too long in the future. You can set it up for next week or the week after.
あんた
If you're stretching it
さっき
3
までいた
weeks, or
他
if
の
you get
ホームレ
lucky
ス
with
仲間はどうし
HOHs,
たの
maybe 3 weeks. But
もうここ
but
での仕
really,
事は済んだっ
if
てさ
anything, by
次の
talking
とこ
about
に移
targeting
されて
somebody
ったよ
4 weeks in advance
次
or
のとこ
longer,
どこだ
you're kind of like you're kind
さあ
of inoculating
ね
them.
いろいろだよ
You're
立花
targeting,
さんと
you're
こは手
helping,
広くやってるから
you're like injecting little
どう
bits
いう
of
連中な
let's
んだ
target this person
立花不動産って
until they've now they've been vaccinated.
何が目的
They
か知ら
now
んけど
are immune to
あ
being
そこに
targeted
関わ
because
んのは
people
や
are
め
used
と
to
きな
hearing this like little bit
あ
of
の
it
人たち
here
は
and there in the
カム
future.
ロ町
Now when
の
the big one
闇
comes,
だよ
it's like I don't know, we've already talked about that. Well, we
俺
have
か
to
ら
move
見り
on.
ゃ
That's old
ヤク
news.
ザなん
That's
か
old
よりよ
strategy
っ
to
ぽど
target
怖
that
い
person. This is
カ
the
ム
new
ロ町
threat.
中に
It
目
makes
と
them seem
耳を
less
張り巡
threatening
らせてるか
when
ら
everybody's talking about
相
targeting
手
them
が
down
ヤ
the
クザだろ
line.
うが
And
弱
so
み
the
見
people
つ
that
け出
haven't
して
been talked
す
about
ぐに
become more
金玉
threatening.
握っちまう
I can
人
see
生一
that,
家もその手で追い払われたって
it's
わ
not necessarily the smartest way to do it.
聞
Be
いた
like,
話じ
I'm
ゃ
gonna use
人生一
like,
家
hey,
の組
let's
長
target
この間
Dave
登場
on
解
4
放期
weeks
から
after
指詰めさせられたら
Like,
しいよ
let's do that. If they say that, people are gonna be like, okay,
本
well,
家の上納金ちょろまかしてんのが匿名で作られて
That's
ね
kind of what they're doing, I think, with
も
like
っと
EA.
も
I feel
作られたのはそのほんの
like,
一部
let's get Ian out.
全部ぶちまけられたら組長絶対殺されるっていう
We're not at jury yet. It's not there yet. There's still 2 or
立花が小出しにチクって脅しをかけた
That's really smart because he can just sit there pretty and
別に俺は立花さんとこがやったなんて一言も言ってないよただヤクザのそんな弱み探り出せんのあそこ以外にはまずないだろうけどね 俺があとあんたに言ってやれるのは立花からは手をしてって忠告くらいだね
They can go. So like he's on board, and Bailey is now in the Janelle position where like she's getting a little bit of hope, but it's false hope, and it's just gonna ruin her game to try and push it, which is what happened to Janelle in both of the first 2 weeks, and so she's like, oh, Enzo's on board, like maybe I can make this
Look at that
happen.
poppin'.
He also talks some shit on Danny.
後悔するなよ
Cody is into talk. And there's a lot of campaigning happening throughout the day that's sort of make this happen. Janelle is going around to everyone, to Cody, to Danny, to Tyler, to Enzo, back to Cody, back to Tyler, back to Danny, and she's pushing as hard as she can. Cody, I think one of Cody's biggest strengths in the game, or at least a big strength of Cody's in the game, is his ability to just talk and not say anything for hours. It's annoying to watch, but it's very effective.
What is this? A bar?
He knows how to lie. He does. He knows how to just like kind of change the subject a
Why
little
not?
bit. Like, yeah, like when Janelle was talking to him and she was campaigning, which I'm sure we're getting into that, but he was just like, yeah, you know, it's good. And he knows how to like change the subject. Oh, I'm excited for dinner coming up. Like, he knows how to like change that kind of thing.
And he'll like talk, like he'll shift into like meta commentary on the social state of the
There's
house
a restaurant.
and who's talking to who and why and what it's like to be on the block and campaign, and he gets it and he wants to be there for her. Like he can like just dig into, like if the surface level of the conversation is campaigning, he can dig down below that level and then talk freely about a sort of more meta version, and then if that gets stale, he can go deeper. And he can just keep talking and not actually say anything. And at the same time, he's joking, and him and Janelle are laughing, and they're having a good time, and he's being super friendly, and she's coming away from the conversation like he's a cool guy, he's a nice guy.
It's a bad Karen. We've been talking about a couple of these scenes that happened last night. I had so much hope that like there was like little sparks here and there. Maybe they're gonna turn. Maybe they're gonna flip the vote. Maybe it's gonna happen. Like there was a scene where it was Enzo and Cody. Enzo's like, hey, how about we do it? Do you think we flip the vote? Cody shuts it down. And then there was little conversations. I was thinking during the conversation with Janelle and Cody that, hey, maybe she's getting to him. Maybe a piece of it realizes she's better for his game, and she is better for his game. It is a smarter move. And it was hard to watch last night. It was hard because I know it's not happening, and there was just little sparks here and there. Like, is Enzo want to flip the vote? Is Enzo trying to do it? Is he trying to go for it? And nothing happened.
Yeah.
Can you get drunk in this game?
Well, Cody talks to Christmas, and Christmas says that she doesn't buy the argument that they need to target Kaser next because there might be a buyback. She says, actually, it's the opposite. If there's a buyback, we should continue to target pairs because, or if we're worried about there being a buyback, we should continue to target pairs because, yes, basically saying that we should put up Bailey and Devon because if we get rid of this other pair, then only one pair can come back and be a pair again. Whereas if we get out Kaser, then okay, that pair's completely gone, but now we still have a pair to deal with in the game. And if there's not a buyback, then we've split up both pairs if we take out both pairs. So it's actually a very convincing logical argument from Christmas. And she talks more about how she's now leaning more toward Bailey going before Devon. So again, Nicole has been doing some good work shifting that target.
Now, do you think, my question on that is, if Bailey and Devon were on the block, Taryn, who do you think would go of the two of them?
I mean, that's the question, right? Tyler, Cody, Enzo all would want Bailey to stay for sure. But Kevin, Nicole, and Christmas as the HOH would be pushing for Devon to stay. Danny is still leaning toward Devon leaving, but could be swayed the other way if Nicole can get her way. Ian would definitely be on board to get rid of Bailey. So it would be a very close vote.
That might be a vote that could split the house, though. That could be like a vote that gives us some entertainment because it's going to be who campaigns better, which side wants to keep the right person. So I think as much as like we don't want another woman leaving 4 in a row would just be horrible, it might give us something like the unknown here. You know, we don't know what will happen.
All right, so Devon and Bailey talk some more. They talk about how Kaser is going to put up Danny and Nicole, and that if one of them comes off, then he might put up somebody like Cody. And either way, they get rid of Nicole, hopefully. Neither of them can do that, but if he does it, that would be great. Day says now that she's got beef, she can do that, meaning David. Bay says her original plan was to nominate Ian and Nicole, but now she is reconsidering because she thinks that Nicole sitting next to anybody but the people they're working with would mean that Nicole stays, which is true. Nicole will not go home against anybody except for somebody from the Slick Six. So that is definitely a tricky situation for her if she wants to get Nicole out. She doesn't end up ever saying what her actual plan is, though.
And we have no idea. I do think Nicole on this end is in a kind of a good spot because
oh, fuck off.
there is no one like that go home again. Apart from like you're saying with like Tyler or like the big names, but no one's gonna put up those guys. It's not gonna happen. So people are all gonna go into next week. The ones that want to target Nicole and put her up and expect her to go, and she's just not gonna go, and they're gonna waste their HOH completely.
So they want to run and grab Cody and Enzo the Connect because they feel like, hey, let's get one more push in to try and save Janelle. Again, it's like, oh, Bailey, they like you, don't push it. It's not gonna happen. It's a dead vote. Don't Janelle this. But they talk about the vote. Cody says, look, Janelle she doesn't give me any information. She keeps saying like people said this, people said that. She won't tell me who. And she, she talks about like the other side, and like if she's talking about the side, we know what that means. Like I am the other side. So he's just not really for it. But Bay says, well, look, she's coming for David and Nicole, whereas Kaser may come for you. And Cody says, but Nicole and Danny are dead set on Janelle, and they would take it personally if we flipped on that. And Bay's like, well, I don't mean to offend, but why do we care what Nicole thinks? She's not in the alliance. And he's like, yeah, but we don't want to set off alarms. Like, if we piss off Nicole, then she might start working against us. She might start to see that something is wrong, that we're not working in her best interest. It's better to just keep things calm. And Bay's like, but I don't know. She's only ever said she's coming for Nicole. So if she goes for Nicole, like that's good for us. And Cody says, sure.
So close.
But Nicole's only one person.
Give him an easy shot.
Let's say Janelle takes out Nicole. What next? Who's she gonna go after that? And she's like,
wait, why would he not go the other way?
Back to back. She takes out Nicole, we take her out. It's like, nah, but I mean, we're just leaving in, a bomb ready to go off. Like, we have to get her out the next week when we have her right now. And so this goes back and forth. There's more talk about Nicole. Bailey continues to talk about being worried about her. She says, I'm just worried that, like Nicole's not going to come after you guys at all. Nicole's going to come after me at, like, Final 7. And Enzo's like, whoa. This is just way too far down the line to be thinking about that. Things change in this game. And so, Davon is like, okay, Cody, what's the order? What's the order of evictions? And Cody's like, I don't know, like, Kaser and David. Don't mind. On that, like, I don't know. And Enzo's like, it's not about order. It's about who wins HOH, yo. Things change, yo.
Little do they know the plan is some people want to bet up north of next week.
Yeah. Day's like, I just wanted to make sure David is up there, because he's messing up my game. So I'm glad that you're talking about David as a potential target. And this is when Day says that she knows Nicole has to go at some point, but she cannot be the one to do it.
Exactly. And I was saying earlier they have this like unspoken bond from season 18 where they can't do it to each other. But this is them kind of, I guess, misting Dave, not letting them know, hey, you can trust us. We're good. We're gonna miss you, and not let you know that all the other girls want to target you next week and are rising the crusade to come after you. So they don't need to know that. But we'll tell you guys what you want to hear.
Yeah, and Cody does have the better argument here. I really do. Like, for as theoretically good as it would be to keep like a big target in the house at like Janelle. Like Janelle is consistently the one getting in Kaser's head about targeting the big group, targeting going for the jugular, and she is consistently the one that continues to try to convince Kaser that Tyler and Cody are together. Don't trust them. She's yes, she's going after Nicole, but she's doing it for admittedly like petty reasons. And if she actually got power, would she actually go for Nicole?
Oh, fuck off.
Probably. But would she stop at Nicole? Definitely not. And she would go after Cody and Tyler. I fully believe it. And she's just she's detrimental to their games in that way. And leaving her in the game gives more power power to Bailey and Devon, which doesn't just flat out doesn't make a lot of sense for Cody. So it's a good rebuttal to the problem. But Bailey was pushing hard.
She was pushing hard. I think she really wants Janelle to stay because they've made a bond. And I don't know. I kind of have a different opinion than you because I feel like the boys, the Enzos, the Tylers, the Codys, I don't think Janelle's coming for them anytime soon. She's been talking vocally to User on the feed that she wants to target the floaters. She doesn't want to come after them yet. So she wants to come after them after jury. And that they could already get rid of her by then. You know?
I mean, I see, like, I'd first, like, when she was talking about targeting the floaters, I was kind of like,
yeah, win somehow.
Might make sense to keep Janelle around.
I don't know why.
But
yeah, I don't know
like
Pool. No, like I know the basic rules, obviously, but I don't know.
And when Kate talked about nominating a floater, she was like, "No, you idiot! You have to nominate the people from the core group." And so I just feel like okay, she gets out of the poll. What is she going to do next? Is she really going to then shift her entire focus onto like all of the floaters and let this core group continue to build power?
I get your point though because she's not gonna. I don't think she's gonna target Memphis because she's not onto Memphis yet at all. She thinks she can trust Memphis somewhat, even though he's not working with her. She still feels like he won't come after her. She's not gonna come after Bay and Day. Like maybe she didn't like Kevin and David, but like if they're with Bay and Day, you're right. Like they could. At least David maybe should target David and Nicole. She's not gonna target Danny, so you're right. Maybe she would come after the boys.
Yeah, and it's like okay, she gets out Nicole. Now you need to target her before she targets you, because if you target David or Kevin first, then now you've done her work for her. Now she can only come after you, so you have to go after her. And then she wins a veto. And now she's really gunning for you. And now you've got to deal with that. And Bay and Day are not going to do the work for you. They're not going to go after her. So now you've got this big headache left in the game. And you could have just taken her
fuck
down,
off.
So I can understand that. I'm such a big fan of Janelle. Like, I'm a huge Janelle fan. So it's like I want her to stay. Just, I love the show. Like, she basically is like the Boston Rob of Big Brother. And I just want her to get her win. But you're right, for the game, it's not necessarily smart if she stays. Unless there's a twist, Taryn, because everybody wants a twist.
I don't know about everybody.
Oh, do you not want a twist?
When do I want twists?
I want a twist. I want that room. I've read some conspiracy theories on Reddit that the whatever the suite, the safety suite is gonna be a house, and she just goes.
That actually kind of
we all want it.
I mean, look, I'll say this. The only time I was ever happy about a buyback was when Kaser came back into the house in season 6. I like, if there's any time for somebody to come back in the house, Janelle staying in there, I would personally be okay with it. I feel like the people who want it most are the people that are going to be the most disappointed, because they're the ones that are going to have to live through this week over again, right? And so that's my own, my hesitancy is that for me, people have been so negative this week. It's just been like, it's been a slog to try and get through, and so for me, with having to deal with the fan base being so negative again is annoying. But I personally would enjoy Janelle staying on my screen.
4.
Hey, there you go. But I mean, we know that Keisha and Nicole A have gone home. So if they are doing it, if they are doing something, it would be something that starts this week. So we'll see. I'm hoping, but I'm not confident.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was so close. Look at that was so close.
Talk with Bay and Day. They talk about how they can't keep Janelle.
Why would you go for that one?
And that's another part of it too, that I didn't even mention with keeping Janelle. That the argument that Nicole will be pissed off is totally true. Nicole will lose a lot of trust in them if they keep around Janelle, because it's obvious what the point of keeping Janelle is. The point of keeping Janelle is she goes after Nicole. So Nicole is going to start to work against you at that point. She's not going to feel comfortable with you anymore, and that's a big blow to your game. She knows a lot of dirt. So that's another reason why it really doesn't matter. I get it.
No,
especially
it's
from a fan point of view. Why do you care about Nicole? has a lot of information. She's very capable, and you don't want to piss her off for negligible, you know, upsides. So Cody talks about how he was like, oh yeah, I said the right thing today about David because she wants me to put up David because she's worried about this Guys Alliance. And so I'll put up David if it helps prove there's no Guys Alliance. Like, I'm down. They talk about how Christmas is going to nominate Devon and Bailey. Enzo's like, that's a pitbull, yo. She's got us.
Oh, wait, that was him.
No,
okay.
I can't drop it, I'm sorry. It's gonna stick with me the whole season.
Chicken mom! They're still pissed off about Danny. Enzo thinks that Tyler would be down to backdoor her. And Cody says, look, the only thing about Danny is that she does trust us a lot, which is good. But we can't trust her. And so I think this came after his conversation with Danny when Danny was talking about
so
how much
close.
she thinks that he trusts her and like that she's kind of like chilled on wanting to target Tyler. I think Cody correctly sees that while he can't trust Danny, she trusts him. And I know that this might sound backwards, but this is how it works in the Big Brother house. Somebody trusting you is more trustworthy than you trusting somebody. You can trust somebody that trusts you more than you can trust somebody that you trust. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
I had to time a little bit.
Right? Like, and that's the problem that Day and Day have run into in the past is that Cody trusted Devon a lot. Devon did not trust Cody. When that became clear, the situation
I thought you had it.
And Cody now doesn't trust Devon only because she doesn't trust him. Somebody that trusts you is the most valuable thing that you can have in the game. And if you just trust somebody else, then you're trusting that they trust you, and you're trusting that they're gonna do what's good for you. Whereas if somebody trusts you, and you don't care about them, or you don't trust them, you are in control of that relationship. They trust you, and you can influence them, and they're not gonna turn on you.
It's kind of like, I guess, Danny with Nicole and Ian, or maybe Nicole with Ian on somewhat. Maybe I'm not Ian trusts Nicole, and I think Ian trusts Danny as well, but she has to be aware of the fact he trusts her, and I don't think she realizes how much of a factor he is to her game. So that is kind of, is that like maybe an example of what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean like,
this guy's the same
and
one.
I think that like the Danny situation is
dark.
perfect. Like, Cody doesn't trust
I know we're over
Danny
30, but fuck
to
it.
not go around and do things that might hurt his game, that might hurt other people's games. But he doesn't trust her. But as long as he knows that he can't trust her, and she trusts him, it's not really worth taking her out. She's still valuable to him in the game. Whereas, if he felt like I really like Danny and I can trust her a lot, but she doesn't trust me, he would need to target her.
Exactly, but she still trusts him, so he wants to keep her in the game.
Exactly.
If someone is still an asset to you, if they trust you, you don't want to vote them out because that's a number for you. That is someone that can help. It's almost like I wonder how Tyler would be if David was on the block, because Tyler knows David actually trusts him. I think the only person David actually, I think, somewhat trusts is Tyler, because Tyler kind of has taken him under his wing.
Well, I think that knowledge has, I think Tyler now is like, I don't know if this guy trusts me, because Tyler feels like, would David have told me anything if I hadn't caught him?
Yeah. So, I'm just trying to think, maybe like Rasmus was, I don't think anyone really trusts David in the house right now. Like, no one.
No.
He's like in his own little island by himself, and people don't want to work with him.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and worse than nobody trusting him is that nobody feels like he trusts them.
No one knows where he stands, and he's not letting anyone know where he stands, which is really bad gameplay. Even if he let one person in, he has let no one in on him, where he stands. We don't even know where he stands as an audience and feed watcher.
Yeah. Tyler did, when he talks to David, he was like, hey, like, I fixed this, but like, you gotta chill. And he was kind of like, he did. He was like, okay, we're gonna use this now. We're gonna pretend that we're dead to each other, but we're still cool. But Tyler's not looking out for David anymore. Like he'll keep David there, and he'll make sure David thinks that Tyler still trusts. Because again, Tyler understands that the important thing is not that he trusts David or that David trusts Tyler, but the important thing is that Tyler pretends that he still trusts David. As long as David thinks that Tyler trusts him, Tyler's fine. Tyler's good.
Exactly, and I think that's a smart move on Tyler, because I think it's almost like, I don't know, it's a little bit,
Nice
David's kind of like a Sam from season 20, but Sam was, I think, a better game player. I think everyone's a better, Chicken George was a better game player than him, but he kind of is similar to Sam. Do you get like Sam BB20 vibes from David a little bit?
We talked about this the other day. He's like Sam plus Caitlyn plus Vanessa from Big Brother Canada 8.
That's a good one. Let's see him try and put a puzzle together.
So, Cody and Enzo are talking. So Cody says, Danny trusts us a lot, which is good, but we can't trust her. Cody also lets Enzo know about 4 Prime. He says, we don't really need to worry about Ian. We've got him covered in this 4-person thing. And they are annoyed that Bailey is trying to flip the votes. Cody says, choose your battles. This is not a winnable battle. And like he's like, and that's what we need to do. And so we need to choose our battles too. It's not worth fighting things that you can't win. Fighting over things that you can't win. You need to be able to pivot. And that's what makes Cody good in this game.
Cody did learn from one of the greats of Big Brother. He learned from his pal Derek, and he's gonna play well because of that. I do think he's more emotional than Derek. He definitely is a Robin, and I think this cast has a lot of Robins in it and no Batman. So it's just a bunch of Robins running amok looking for their Batman, and it's just like, I don't know, it's good gameplay, but it's just, he's kind of emotional, and I think that is the one thing that can work against Cody, is he doesn't have Derek this season being like, dude, chill out, you gotta go this way.
Not bad.
Bailey, Devon, and Christmas are going to talk a bit about David, and Christmas is going to start roasting him for not watching any episodes. These quotes have been going around all day so far.
So bad. Has he even seen his season? Does he seen like 4 episodes of the show? I don't think he even knows what HOH stands for. Like,
yeah. Christmas is not a fan of that.
One.
Then finally, Devon and Bailey talk a bit about the conversation they had. They're annoyed that Cody is considering Nicole's feelings on the vote, and they're very sketched out about it. They think, unfortunately for them, they're like, Enzo is blind to it. Oh man, he's not seeing it. Oh man, Enzo needs to stop saying stuff about Danny in front of Cody. Cody's gonna get mad at him.
Enzo is a character with the situation.
See, this is the problem, right? It's the same problem that Janelle and Kaser had in the first couple of weeks, where because Enzo is willing to keep Janelle, they feel like he must not be on that side.
Exactly. He's really good at missing people.
I just want to end the episode. Not sure if I'll do another one after this or not. It is already 12:30. As I said, I have to go to work. They'll work at 3. Gamescom is at 2. I believe 1:30 or 2, somewhere around there. So that means I only have like an hour and a half to do other shit.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, where like,
I don't care.
And it's a little understandable from their perspective, because they feel like they're in the alliance with Enzo, and that's why he feels comfortable. But anybody who's not in an alliance with Enzo, who is watching Enzo in the house, should know that Enzo is in some kind of brigade alliance, because Enzo is not gonna be like he played his entire game the first time.
Fuck off.
Pretending at summer camp. If you're seeing Enzo hanging out pretending at summer camp, then he's in a brigade alliance. That's it. If he's not in a brigade alliance,
Oh, there it is.
They're back to this like sort of four-person thing: Cody, Tyler, Nicole, and Danny. And Day says maybe Tyler's Cody's Derek, and maybe whoever stays out of Danny and Nicole will be his Victoria.
I'd rather have Victoria than Nicole Randall, honestly. But that's
Yo, and nice 61 for nothing project.
Yeah,